Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 14th. And goddamn, those All-Star jerseys last night were disgusting.
They were horrible.
I thought, like, they've done some bad things, and MLB's released some bad things. They were horrible last night. What's up, Tom?
Not much, man. Not much. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible how the MLB does things, but we're going to get more into the All-Star game and everything around that. So, breaking news, kind of. Lionel Messi has signed a 5-year extension with Barcelona. The big deal about it is he's taking a huge pay cut, so he's probably going to go down as the best over Ronaldo just because he's a better human being. He's Tom Brady, basically.
Tom Brady, basically. I guess. I always put a premium on the guys that.
That sucks.
There you go. I always put a premium on guys that stay with their team.
Yeah. So he's taking a major pay cut. So screw him. Whatever. And then I guess the biggest news yesterday, other than the All-Star game, was, Team USA finally got a win.
Team USA finally got a win. Yeah, and finally, after getting ran on by two teams now.
I don't think we have to talk about it much, but them losing to Nigeria and Australia, like Nigeria, they definitely should have lost to. Australia, they probably shouldn't have lost to, but there's been like reports out and everything that like Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, and like all the star players, like, it's FIBA, so they're FIBA refs, and they're not getting their touch fouls that they always get in the NBA.
Yeah. In all honesty, it's probably better basketball to watch than the NBA.
It is.
Because of that, but I just am not watching it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit last night, but it was a blowout. I wish Darius Garland would get more time. I don't think it's good that they have Damian Lillard bringing the ball up the court. I think you should just have like a willing passer bring the ball up the court with how many scoring options they're going to have on the floor. So I think Darius Garland would be really good there. But the real thing is they're probably going to win the gold medal, and people will forget about this once they do that. But I will say Jason Tatum went he was out yesterday, and the game before against Australia, he went 0 for 6. That's why you don't draft people from Duke. That's why. They don't represent the country very well.
I loved all of the memes that were coming out after the first two losses, where it's like the only thing that could save Team USA, and it was just a picture of Carmelo Anthony in his USA jersey.
Dude, if you go to teamusabasketball.com, because I did an article yesterday about how I think Darius Garland should more minutes. If you go to Team USA and like, I was looking at like box scores and everything, the first picture in their like team shop or whatever is like one of those jersey T-shirts with Carmelo Anthony.
It's because he's the greatest. What? He's the greatest Olympic basketball player.
I think it kind of started out as a joke, but like he probably might go down as like the greatest Olympian ever.
Other than anyone on the Dream Team.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good the NBA All-Stars finally beat Argentina, who really had nobody.
Thank God.
But we'll get into the NBA Finals and the NBA in a little bit. Today in sports history, in 1914, the NL's Boston Braves start the climb from last place to World Series sweep. So, what is it, July? Damn, that's they must have had a huge second half, I guess.
They must have won like 80-90% of the rest of the games.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had to be like 10-50 going into that. And this is actually kind of interesting, I thought. In 1951, in his last race, 1948 Triple Crown champion Citation wins Hollywood Gold Cup by 4 lengths to become American racing's first millionaire horse. That's kind of ironic because I think that like every horse now that runs in even just one of the like Triple Crown races is probably a millionaire. Considering all the the races out in California where they actually just kill the horses, but hopefully that's over with. And then like the Breeders' Cup and everything. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. And a little trivia. I don't think I put the answer on. I think I finally got it right, and I didn't put it on for you. So we had home runs last night, and we'll talk about Vladdy Jr. is a beast. I love him. But what? So this is 2021. What was the last year, like closest to 2021, that there wasn't a home run hit in the All-Star game?
That's an oddly specific question. I have no idea. I'll go with 2003.
2013. There was no home runs.
I was close.
Honestly, there was two answers there. You could have gone with 2019 because they just didn't play the All-Star game.
Right.
But yes, it was 2013. It's funny to look. Like I went on a website that had all the home runs ever hit in the All-Star game. And like it in the beginning, like 1931, 32, there was like usually like one home run a year. And then you get up to like the 2015 and there's like 7 home runs every game. So I don't know. We'll get into a little bit the All-Star game. I do want to talk about Marcus Rashford. He was one of the guys who missed his penalty. And I kind of talked about it the other day. But he kind of released this letter, and I'm just going to read it. I'll read it. I don't even know where to start, and I don't even know how to put into words how I'm feeling at this exact time. I've had a difficult season. I think that's been clear for everyone to see, and I probably went into that final with a lack of confidence. I've always backed myself for a penalty, but something didn't feel quite right. During the long run-up, I was saving myself a bit of time, and unfortunately, the result was not what I wanted. I felt as though I had let my teammates down. I felt as though I'd let everyone down. A penalty was all I'd been asked to contribute for the team. I can score penalties in my sleep, so why not that one? It's been playing in my head over and over since I struck the ball, and there's probably not a word to describe how it feels. Final, 55 years, one penalty, history. All I can say is sorry. I wish it had gone differently. Whilst I continue to say sorry, I want to shout out my teammates. This summer has been one of the best camps I've experienced, and you've all played a role in that. A brotherhood has been built that is unbreakable. Your success is my success. Your failures are mine. I've grown into a sport where I expect to read things written about myself, whether it be the color of my skin, where I grew up, or most recently, how I decide to spend my time off the pitch. I can take critique of my performance all day long. My penalty was not good enough. It should have gone in, but I will never apologize for who I am and where I came from. I've felt no prouder moment than wearing those 3 Lions jersey on my chest and seeing my family cheer me on in a crowd of tens of thousands. I dreamt of days like this. The messages I've received today have been positively overwhelming, and seeing the response in Withington had me on a verge of tears. The communities that always wrap their arms around me continue to hold me up. I'm Marcus Rashford, 23-year-old black man from Withington in Wythenshawe, South Manchester. If I have nothing else, I have that. For all those kind messages, thank you. I'll be back. We'll be stronger. Obviously, he was one of the guys that received racial abuse. He had a mural defaced, basically. I think I talked about it on Monday. He won the Arthur Ashe Award basically because he saved the country's children, basically, because they didn't have free school meals. He's much more mature than I am, and he's 5 more years younger than me. He's just a really good dude. And also, it does suck because today another report came out that he's going to be out until mid-October with a shoulder injury, and he plays for my favorite teams, so I'm not very happy about that. But I am happy for Marcus because I just don't know what it is about these soccer fans that, like, I just don't get it. Like, I really don't. And it's weird. I feel like the Britain and London and the UK is kind of like the United States, and there's obviously racism in the United States, but I don't know if it goes that far, or it probably does, but I refuse to read about it, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, it was probably the biggest game of his life. He missed the biggest shot of his life, but it's not like the world's ending, guys. So kudos to him, and hopefully his shoulder gets better because I would really like to see him play well this year. So unless you have anything on that, We'll move on. Uh, all right, so I'll start with the NBA. I didn't know he had a partially torn ACL, but apparently Kawhi Leonard underwent surgery to repair his partially torn ACL. I think it's at a point with him where you kind of got to ask, like, is it worth the money, the max money to pay him anymore? Because I mean, whether it's right or wrong, he's not going to play through injury. He's just not. So right or wrong, that's whatever. But it now seems that he gets injured like every postseason. So, I mean, he's a great defender. He's never excited me really that much. He's not an exciting player because he is a robot, let's be honest. And I just think, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it goes to show that his load management doesn't work, because the whole point of his load management and his not playing every game and not helping the team was to avoid injury. And I understand, like, ACLs tear all the time. I always remember the guy that got a sack and went up to celebrate and jumped up like this and landed on his leg and tore his ACL.
Oh, like the kicker, the Gramatica from the 90s or the 80s.
Yeah, the kicker, or the guy that got the sack and jumped up like this and landed and tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Like, I get those things happen, but the load management's not working. So why not use him while you have him in all the games and let him play his normal minutes that he should play, so that you can win more games and essentially get a higher seed?
Yeah, I was actually listening last week, I think, to one of the Barstool podcasts. They had Ryan Russillo on. I don't know if you remember Ryan Russillo. But he was basically saying that, like, the media, the NBA media, like, always pushes rest and, like, this load management. But he also said that, like, there's no real science behind it. It's just kind of people guessing. So I understand the load management in a little bit, but he's also still under 30 years old. Like, he shouldn't need that much load management. I don't know. I mean, if the offer were to come, I would probably give him a max deal, but it's just, I just don't. It's risky. I mean, you just got to know that he's the new Chris Paul. Hopefully now Chris Paul's probably going to get hurt tonight. Damn it. But yeah, I mean, he's going to get hurt. It's weird. I don't get it.
I don't get Kawhi. Hopefully he comes back and is good, but I just don't understand the man.
And we kind of talked about it, but, like, with all these younger players now that are exciting, like Devin Booker and Trae Young, it's like, and this is also partly me because I've just kind of gotten back into the NBA, but, like, I don't really care if Kawhi doesn't play. Like, he's not on my team, like, and he's not exciting, so I don't want to watch him. I mean, let's be honest, his best trait is defense, so it's not very exciting, but I don't know. Let's move on to Game 4 tonight. It's a pretty big game. What are you looking at? Why is your head always down like this?
I'm looking at the odds for the game on BetMGM.
You could. Oh, what are the odds from MGM?
Phoenix has plus 155 money line. Milwaukee's minus 190, which is what I was really looking at to make sure that I saw it right. Why are they so heavily favored?
What's the spread at MGM?
4.5.
Yeah, that's what my bookie is too. I don't know. Giannis is. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go in and around on Giannis again. I'm just not. But every time he goes up to like shoot a layup or a dunk or just moves fast, I just keep thinking his knee's going to get hurt again. And I mean, let's be honest. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are pretty good players, but the reason I got by the Hawks was because A, Trae Young missed like 2 games, and B, like, Trae Young couldn't just carry that whole team basically. And it just seems like Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday decide to have 1 or 2 games every series that they're really good, and one of them was Game 3. So I don't know why they're favored. I would say it's probably because they're at home. That's the only thing I could think of. But I don't know.
I mean, I would get that if it was just like minus 110, minus 120. But this is minus 190. This is almost minus 200, and I just don't see them winning because, like we talked about, Devin Booker had one of the worst games of his life. He's going to want to bounce back. Chris Paul had a horrible game. He's going to want to bounce back. I just don't understand how these people come up with odds. I really don't.
I mean, let's be honest. For the Bucks to win the series, Giannis will need to average 40 points a game here on out, at least. So maybe he's capable of that. Maybe he's not. I would say he's probably not, considering he doesn't have a 3-point shot, or he gets maybe 55% of his free throws. So I don't know. I like them. I like the Suns. I won't say big, but I'm going to take the Suns money line. If also you can find it, I'm sure MGM has it when you can build your own props. I think Bovada does too.
That's what I'm looking at now, the one-game parlays.
Yeah, I would take Devin Booker over 30 points. And if you're looking to parlay it, I would also probably take Chris Paul assists above 10. And I would also put, I don't know if you can do rebounds, but I would say Ayton's probably going to get more than 12 or 13. So, yeah.
So you said Booker over 30, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a live put it together. So Booker over 30.
Yep.
Chris Paul, you said for assists over 10.
I would go over 8.
Over 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say Booker or Ayton. I don't know, what are the options? I would say
rebounds.
What?
For rebounds?
Yeah, I would say he's gonna have more than 12 for sure.
All right, more than 12. That would get you to plus 375 on your odds.
I mean, I would take that. Devin Booker's not going to have another game where he misses. They also know that,
if you add Giannis to over 32 points or 32 and a half, it boosts it to 575.
I don't like Giannis. I would never put him in any of my bets. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why I keep saying let's be honest, but this is a huge game. I mean, Phoenix really needs to win this game if they want to get out of here in 5 or 6. Or else, if Milwaukee wins this one, I think it goes 7.
I think if they do, it goes 7 because it looks like the home team will just win.
Yeah, and do we know who has home court advantage?
The Suns. They had the first.
Oh, they do. Okay. I assumed so because they got the first 2, so I assumed it, but I didn't know. But yeah, I think it's a huge game tonight. I think it's going to be interesting. Like I said, if you can put a prop like that, like Tom just did, I definitely would. But even if you are going to do anything, I would definitely take Booker over 30.
Do you think Booker will have more than 4 3-pointers? Because that boosts your odds to plus 725.
I would think yes. If he's going to score 30 points, yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. We're gonna go with it.
Good. I've also started playing Devin Booker in 2K, and let me tell you, I am way too good. But I think I'm gonna start, like, when teams start in all the sports, when they start firing their GMs, I'm just gonna send my either Madden resume or NBA 2K resume. I mean, what can Kobe Altman do that I can't?
Get the job. Somehow that guy gets in, and I don't understand it. That's crazy. Anyway.
So let's move on to a little bit of the draft. So obviously we have, personally, I think it's a 5-player draft. I like Kuminga, but your consensus is it's Cade, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Suggs, which I would probably take Jalen Suggs off that, actually, but I'll leave him on there for now so you can't pick him. I don't know. Let's power rank like 5 of the outside of those guys. Power rank those 5 guys based on like how you want them or how good you think they are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying outside of them, so I think the first guy you got to go and look at is Kuminga because, like you said, it's a 5-person draft in my opinion as well.
I would agree. I think Kuminga is number 1. I think we're going to disagree on number 2.
Probably, because I don't really know. Are you asking me who I think like the Thunder will go with at 6.
No, who do you think? This is like your opinion who the best players are.
Okay, I would personally then, if you put aside his like injury, whatever, I would personally say James Bouknight is my next guy.
James Bouknight is like a 3 inches taller version of Colin Sexton. It's exactly what he is. So, hey, feel free to take him. That's fine.
He's never going to slip.
Mine is easy. Number 2, it's very easy. Moses Moody. I honestly am in love with the kid. I think he would add such an element to the Cavs. I mean, he compares very favorably, and I think his ceiling is actually higher than Mikal Bridges. Which, I mean, Mikal Bridges going in for the 11th pick was crazy. But so I really like Moses Moody. I'll then go to my third, and then I can go to your third. I really like Josh Giddey.
That's where I was going.
Australia, and he played a little bit in their exhibition game last night, and he looked really good. But word is he's not going to get a lot of time, if any, at the Olympics, which kind of sucks because I did kind of want to see him go against those. But, I mean, Josh Giddey is basically a little bit more raw version of Ben Simmons, but he can also actually shoot.
Yeah, I was going to go with Giddey as my next guy up, too.
Yeah, I like Giddey. Giddey's good. I like Giddey. And then for fourth, and this is just, like I said, it's my who I prefer. I would probably go Corey Kispert because I think he's the one guy in the draft that you know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to shoot 3-pointers, and he's going to he's just going to shoot. He's a good shooter, and it's almost impossible for that aspect not to transfer over into the NBA game. So you know exactly what you're getting with him, and then so I like that. I really like that, and yeah, I think there aren't a lot of other risks involved with Kispert.
My 4 was going to be Moses Moody.
Okay.
You already talked about him. I just slipped the 2 in front of him, but he is a special player. It's just going to be interesting to see his landing spot, I think, because I think in the right situation he could explode onto the scene, and in another situation he could not really see much time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. So, and now we get to like the rest of the guys.
Well, my 5 is Kispert, so now you can go to your 5.
Okay. So you have Bouknight. I'm not a huge fan of Bouknight. I think, like, I'm not gonna lie. Other than the guys I've mentioned already, I don't really like any of them. In the like lottery version, I just don't. I don't think they're good enough. But then my 5th would be he compares really favorably to MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. Tyre Williams. He went to Stanford. He didn't have a great year at Stanford. He played on Sierra Canyon with Bronny and all those kids. But I think his shot is going to come around. And so, yeah, if anyone that's going to be – it might take time, but I think Denver's pretty happy. They gave Michael Porter Jr. time. So another thing that I just – same draft as Colin Sexton. Why did we go with the 5'3" 3-point shooting guard that doesn't pass? Yeah, if you don't know, everyone, I'm in Colin Sexton wars right now. If I was the GM of the Cavs, I would take a 2nd-round pick for him. And I would talk more about Sexton and the Cavs on here, but I do it enough on the outside of it, so I'm not going to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we're talking like other guys outside of our top 5 remaining, Davion Mitchell, I really think he could be a good late-round pick.
Well, he's not going to be a late-round pick.
Like a late first-rounder.
He is going to go in the lottery. He's going to go in the lottery. The ESPN right now has him going 7th to the Warriors.
7? Yeah.
He had a really good tournament. I think there are 2 players, or really 3, and the third is kind of a bias, but also there's things there that make me believe this. I think Davion Mitchell is going to be a bust. I just don't see his game translating. And unless, I will say this, they have him 7th right now going to the Warriors. If he goes to the Warriors, he'll be okay.
I'm on NBA Draft Room, and they have him going 14 to the Warriors.
See, I'm on ESPN, and they have Moses Moody going 16. So clearly, there's not a lot of consensus.
Yeah, Moses Moody goes 10 here in NBA Draft Room to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Which I think is the perfect landing spot for him, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That's what
Don't
I was
say
saying, his ideal.
Don't say that because that means they'll stop thinking about Colin Sexton. I really want Brandon Ingram.
You're not getting Brandon Ingram for Colin Sexton.
This would be the perfect trade. You can have Colin Sexton for that 10th pick. The other guy I don't think is going to be good at all. And he was like really high on draft boards originally, but is like now really slipping, and it's good. I think Kai Jones, I think, has no chance in the NBA from Texas.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I see him going 9 here to the Kings, and I'm like, that's a perfect Kings pick because it's another big man that's not going to pan out.
Yeah, considering they already have Marvin Bagley, that makes no sense. And that's funny you say that, though, because in ESPN, they have him going 20th.
20.
So they're clearly outside of the top 4 in this draft, or the top 5. Or I would even say top 6, because I think Scotty Barnes will go in the top 6. I don't like him, but I think he will. Outside the top 6, it seems like no one knows, and that's almost more exciting. So
I have a question about 2 people, though, because like I don't follow the NBA that much.
What's up?
Why is Trey Mann and Jeremiah Robinson Earl so far down on a lot of these sites, like late in the first round? Because I feel like Jeremiah Robinson Earl playing on Villanova, being the leader of the team, I expected him to go a little bit higher personally, just because he was like the bright spot on the injury-riddled Wildcats this year. And then like Trey Mann was literally the only guy in Florida that I could name.
Yeah, I would say Trey Mann just doesn't have a lot of tape to look at. And at 6'5", he really only projects to be a primary ball handler. He's going to be a shoot first guy. I like Trey Mann. I do. And Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he went to Villanova, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's down the board. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
He'll probably end up being awesome, just like Mikal Bridges, DiVincenzo have been. But
Eric Pascal.
No, not Eric Pascal. No.
Pascal. I watched him like live and in person. He's crazy.
Oh, maybe in college. Maybe in college.
He was so good.
In the NBA, he's a 6'6" center, and he's terrible and can't rebound.
Yeah, they need to. I think he's moved to the 4 now. Finally,
he's still on the Warriors, I believe. Correct?
Yeah.
Once again, I hate the Warriors and I hate Steph Curry. Anyone in the draft could go out to Golden State and probably do okay, except for their number 2 pick last year, James Wiseman, which didn't make sense when they took him, but whatever. I honestly think the Warriors took him last year to try and trade him. And from what I've also been hearing, Golden State is willing to do whatever to get out of the 7 and 11 spots to get like a veteran, really good veteran, or an all-star player. I don't think 7 and 11 does that for you, but we'll see.
Can I interest you in a Colin Sexton?
I mean, yeah. I said it last night. I was like, on our little group chat with King James Gospel, I was like, I would trade Colin Sexton for the 7th pick or the 11th pick because I think Moody will be there at both spots. So I would much rather have Moody than Colin Sexton. But if you don't know a lot about the NBA, I would say you should probably not only take my opinion as the only one you listen to, but then again, I think I'm right. But I don't know. Some people like Colin Sexton, some people don't. I don't think you can build around a 6'1" point guard or a 6'1" shooting guard who doesn't pass. So, but I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole. Not today. Not right now.
Right.
The All-Star game. Did you watch any of it?
I watched like highlights after I was done with my shift at work, but like I didn't watch it. It's the MLB All-Star game.
I really thought I was gonna like tune in to the first inning just to see Shohei or anything. And then when I saw like the time was coming up for it, I was like, no, I just don't care.
Yo, and like Shohei didn't even do well when he was batting. I think we have to talk about that first. He got bounced out in the first round by Juan Soto in the home run derby.
Oh yeah. Well, we haven't talked about the home run derby because it was Monday night. I forgot.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Pete Alonso. Well,
Reigning champ.
at least put it on.
I'll put it here for now. While we talk about baseball, I'll leave it.
Wow. No, I don't even no, you can't do that. I can't look at you if you do that.
Fine.
I guess you have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Has the home run derby ruined Pete Alonso?
I mean, did it ruin him or is it going to help him? I mean, maybe this is like a balancing thing.
I hope so.
Last year he won it and he sucked this year. Now he's going to have a great second half because that's like the balancing act of the home run derby.
Yeah, I agree. I hope he turns around. I've told you, man. If there's a postseason run for the Mets, I'm all in on the Mets. I would love to see Francisco Lindor win, or not a Gold Glove. He's already won 12 or whatever. A World Series. I would love that. But back to the All-Star game, or back to the home run derby. I didn't watch any of it. Did you?
No, all I saw was Shohei Ohtani got bounced out in the first round by a double swing off with Juan Soto. And I'm like, how do you let that happen? This is what we were talking about with the MLB doing horrible things for advertising. Why, number one, is the reigning champ Pete Alonso and Shohei Ohtani in the same bracket, number one? Because then they would have played in the semifinals. So why wouldn't you want them both in the finals? Number two, if you were going to fill in anyone for Shohei Ohtani's opponent, because I think was it Acuna was supposed to go up against him? Or someone was supposed to go up against him that was a big name. And
Trevor Story, maybe?
No, he was on the other side of the bracket. I don't know. Someone was in, and they fill it in with Juan Soto, who hits bombs. And I get Shohei Ohtani hits bombs too, but like you could have put Trey Mancini in, who ended up going to the final from the other side of the bracket or whatever. You could have put a lesser-known guy as like a warm-up round for Shohei Ohtani because he is the face of baseball. And you want him to go all the way and have something to market even more.
Well, I kind of have two things to say. Let's be honest, MLB, they can kind of fix the All-Star game, and even if they did fix it, I don't think anyone would care as long as there's home runs being hit. And B, what are the new rules for the home run derby? I don't know. I always thought, I think they went away from the old method because it was messing up people's swings. I really do think that's why they left it. I wish they would just go back to the old method. I like that.
It was fun. It was just better. It really was just better.
I just I don't understand these one-on-one matchups, and I get it. Maybe it's more competition, or I don't know. But yes, congratulations to Pete Alonso. And yeah, like you said, they just don't and that's such a small thing that even you just brought up that should be the fact that you just thought of that. And this isn't railing against you or anything. How does that not come into the Manfred's mind? How are you not this is a home run derby. We can literally fix this probably. And no, let's have him match up with I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like we just keep going over and over saying the same things about the MLB.
Well, Juan Soto was literally did he win it or he's been in it a bunch? Yeah,
he's been in it he's been in it every year since they won the World Series, I think.
Right, and I think he either made it to the final or the semifinal or something like that. He is a vet in this, and he is not a guy that Shohei Ohtani, who is doing his first one, should be going up against in round one if Shohei is really the face of baseball. Like I said, you could just do a simple switch of the seating between Trey Mancini and Juan Soto and then switch Trevor Story with Pete Alonso, and you literally fix everything.
Just bumping really quickly away from the All-Star game and more on Ohtani and the Angels. Did you see what the Angels did in the draft?
Oh, yeah, we talked about it. They passed on Kumar Rocker.
No. But did you see what they did in 20 rounds?
Did they go all pitchers?
They went all pitchers, 20
Yeah.
pitchers in 20 rounds.
I mean, that's one way to fix your
I-
pitching problem, but God,
You know what it is? It's the thing I've talked about before, taking a quarterback every draft.
they literally embodied your mentality.
I mean, I know I saw that and I was like, I mean,
I saw a team did it. I didn't realize it was the Angels, but like I'm not overly surprised because of how many pitching problems they have.
they should have been in the. They should have been. They should be in the World Series this year. It's crazy, and
They should have been in the World Series in the past like 10 years because they've had Mike Trout.
and like kudos to you for bringing this up. I think you brought up like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like people forget that Anthony Rendon is on that team as well.
Mm-hmm. Rendon, Shohei, Trout. They had Pujols when he was still relatively in his prime, and they couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, it almost honestly to the point. It's like LA just they may never win unless actual Angels come down and
start batting 400. Yeah,
Angels in the Outfield. Great movie. You're probably too young for that. Have you seen Angels in the Outfield? God, I feel old. The All-Star game itself, I didn't watch any of it.
All I saw was Shohei Ohtani threw 2 perfect innings.
Oh, did he? I don't know.
But he also went 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts, so figure that out.
The big story, well, first of all, I do want to say this. I do think the broadcast isn't the worst thing in the world. Now that they're like miking up the players, like and things like that, it's not terrible. I still don't am not interested in it really, but it's not terrible. But the best moment, I don't know if you saw it, Fernando Tatis was mic'd up when Vladdy hit that 460.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then they were like, say something to him, and he spoke it in Spanish. And I was like, I just want to know what you said, man. Like, come on. And I put this as the title for it just because, once again, we did this quickly, and I also didn't really think. Everyone during the playoffs when Trey and Luka and everyone, the big thing on Twitter was like, the NBA is in good hands. I'm going to be the first to do this. Major League Baseball, player-wise, Major League Baseball is in good hands. Shohei sucks. Acuna got his torn ACL.
Yeah,
Ozzy Albies is the same team. Like Shohei, how old is Shohei? Does he have like a fake age too or no?
No, he was pitching professionally in Japan, so I think he's a little older, but not too old. Let me see. He's 27.
Okay,
so
see, I was in
baseball. That's relatively young.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. So I do think it's in good hands. And I'll give those guys credit, these young guys, and I have a feeling at some point ESPN and all the networks are going to turn on them. But they have flair. Like Fernando Tatis, when he hits a home run, he bat flips. Like it's fun. Like it should always be like that. It's fun. So
yeah, I'm sick of all the old heads in MLB that are like, unwritten rules of baseball, and I'm like, bro, it's a new age baseball. They're trying to make it fun so that you get viewership so people can pay your salaries. Like, get out.
Yeah. So we'll see with that one. Yeah, whatever. I think bigger news in the MLB came out that I don't really know the whole backstory, but apparently Oakland and like the stadium in Oakland, like
it's horrible.
Yeah, the Raiders left, and so yeah, the situation is horrible, and they've already come out and said that like Vegas is a very viable option.
Of course it is.
I agree. Vegas, I honestly think this. Vegas is going to end up in the next maybe a century. That's a long time, but maybe a decade either too. I don't know. They're going to end up with 2 baseball teams, an NBA team, a hockey team.
They already have, yeah.
And I mean,
they already have their NFL and hockey teams. Now they just need an NBA and an MLB, and then they're the next sports capital of the world.
I will say, I think the NBA will be if they do go to Vegas, they'll be the last ones to go because of the betting involved. And I feel like the basketball is like a much easier sport to shave points, essentially. But hey, like I said,
the Chicago Black Sox showed that You can do it in baseball too, apparently.
I mean, yeah, you just swing and miss.
Exactly.
All right, let's go on to the NFL. I know if anyone, I mean, you basically live under a rock, or you don't like sports. If you haven't seen, did you get a haircut?
Not recently.
Oh, see,
I
I'm
had
just
to
so
go back in my NFL.
I'm so used to looking at my own beard that like I see your thinly trimmed face, and I'm like, what are you doing? But unless you live under a rock, ESPN's been ranking the top 10 players of each position. Have you read all of them?
No.
I there have been some surprising ones. I will say this is good for our fantasy team. Josh Jacobs came in the running back in 10th ahead of Jonathan Taylor. So
really?
Yeah. So but we're gonna go and do our own rankings of the top 3 players at every position. Like I said earlier, it's obviously where they are now, but it can also come into effect what we think will have what kind of season they'll have this year. So I figured this would be a little fun little experiment to try out. And we're gonna mix it up too. We're gonna just bounce around between positions. Let's go top 3 tight ends.
Tight ends. All right. Well, I think it's safe to say Travis Kelce is probably the best as of now. I don't know if he'll stay there in the future because isn't he 31, 32?
Yeah. Also, way to go, Justin. You picked the only one to start with that
ESPN
hasn't done yet.
I was thinking that in my head. Like,
because immediately as I said that, I went to go click on ESPN's.
I'm sitting here on the quarterbacks one, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll scroll up and find tight ends. Like, that comes out tomorrow. Okay.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. I would agree with you. I think Kelce, you have to look at him.
Yeah.
Just because of his production and the team he plays on, I think he's number 1. And I think we're pretty consensus. Kittle, number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not a very distant one because I think if Kittle's healthy, Kittle's a better all-around player. You just see more production out of Kelce because of the system he's in and the fact that the Chiefs actually like to throw the ball. But Kittle is a much more complete tight end, but I wouldn't say that he's the best as of right now.
And then number 3, you might have differing opinions on this. I think there's a lot of viable options for number 3.
Yeah.
I have one name in mind, and then I have one that might surprise you.
I have one that might surprise you that I'm going to stick with.
Okay, you're first. Go ahead.
Darren Waller.
Okay.
That guy is a different breed. I know he came onto the scene. I know he had a rough go of it, I guess, in the beginning of his NFL career. But he is just an animal. I watched him rack up 20 catches versus the Jets the one week that they played, and he is insane.
I would just off topic real quick. I forgot the Jets beat the Browns this year.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. No, I actually agree with you. The smart pick is to go with Darren Waller. I agree. He's a more of your new version, like hybrid tight end kind of.
Yeah.
I will say, Kyle Pitts is not far behind him, and he hasn't played a game yet.
Yeah, I didn't want to go with Pitts because you don't know how anyone's going to translate.
I'm not going to lie. If this was a top 5, Kyle Pitts would probably be 4 or 5 for me.
I would put him at 5 right now, even though that's a little high maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, if you just look at how easily because let's be honest, Darren Waller and Greg Kittle.
George Kittle.
No, it's not. It's Greg.
It's George Kittle.
Okay, it's George. Whatever. I was getting his name mixed up. I'll explain to you later. Those two are different types of tight ends than Waller and Pitts are. So I do think Pitts is going to be a top 5 tight end by the end of this year, almost 100%. I think. Yeah,
my one that I was toying with instead of Waller was actually T.J. Hawkinson.
I don't hate that pick at all. I love.
He's a very close. Sorry, and then if Mark Andrews is in a system where they throw the ball, I mean, you can't forget his production a couple of years ago. Even last year when they weren't throwing the ball in PPR for fantasy, at least he finished 6 overall.
But he should finish higher considering that Lamar can't throw and that he should be the check down option almost every play.
Well, to be fair, the year that Mark Andrews was great, like 2 years ago in 2019, he finished 5, only 1 spot higher for PPR. But you look at his targets, he lost 10 targets, which resulted in him losing, 6 receptions. But he actually, and he lost, obviously, his numbers were down from last year, but they weren't horrible. I mean, he lost 6 catches, he lost 150 yards, and he lost 3 touchdowns because he lost the 10 targets. So it's actually pretty consistent, even though no one really thinks of it that way because it was such a down year for the Ravens in general.
But, I mean, it wasn't really that down of a year.
I mean, yeah, I should say a down year for Lamar, but.
All right, I'll let you pick the next position.
Let's go with.
Well, I will say this: like ESPN, if you read the article, it has honorable mentions. I think you obviously T.J. Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts. There's others on there, but definitely those 2.
Let's give some linemen some love. Let's go with OTs, offensive tackles.
Okay. Okay.
I'm pulling it up. I'm looking real quick.
Yeah, so either tackle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, tackles. Not the interior guys, because those guys deserve a little bit of love as well.
Yeah, I got you.
I'll start it off, and I think this one's a pretty clear. Actually, I think that the at least the people at ESPN had a lot of varying opinions, I guess, because I'm looking at the guy who I thought was the clear-cut number 1, and his highest ranking was number 1, and his lowest ranking was 10. Trent Williams of the 49ers. I mean, that guy has been dominant since he came into the league, switched teams after the whole medical thing, and is just super consistent. He plays on the left side, right?
Yeah.
He protects the blind side, and he does it fantastic. And he's just an all-around great player. And I'm looking at his PFF ranking. He put up a 91.9 with his total grade. It had a 93.6 pass block win rate. I mean, the guy is an animal.
I'll agree with you with him there. But I'll also say my second. There's a lot of good tackles.
There are a lot of good tackles.
All right, I'm going to surprise you with my second, I think.
Okay.
I think Tristan Wirfs.
Really?
Dude, he came in as a rookie last year and only got better, and he killed it for a Super Bowl champion. Granted, he is on the right side, so it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't remember the last time an offensive lineman had that much of an impact in his rookie year. No, I don't even think Joe Thomas did.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'd probably put him at like 6 or 7.
It's probably high. So, you know what? Fine, I'll change it.
No, your opinions are your opinions, man. I love it.
Then I'll go 3. Then this is tough for me. I will go with Bothraki for now, but I also like Laramie Tunsil a lot.
Laramie Tunsil is my 2. He's like the only bright spot on the Texans and has been.
Yeah, if you're Laramie Tunsil, you have to look at yourself and be like,
why?
After all these things have happened with this organization, how am I the last one here?
You would think they try and trade him for a return on investment, but yeah, Tunsil's mine 2. I actually really like Teron Armstead, so he's my 3. With Bothraki at my 4. I mean, Armstead was the rock for Drew Brees for so long on that line. But I'm going to talk about honorable mention, I am going to give the love to Mekhi Becton because he's on there. He is on there. He would be my 5 after Bothraki. I know that's a little low.
I don't think that's a reach at all.
Yeah. He's he's a rock, man. He's going to be great for years to come, but I'd like to see him progress a little more as well and have a good year with the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's Mekhi Becton definitely. Yeah, there's a lot. Hey, I guess we could just say it for everything now. The tackle position is in good hands.
It's deep. It's in good hands.
All right.
Your choice.
We're gonna go interior offensive line.
I was hoping he'd go there.
I
mean, we could just get this one out of the way because there's one guy that is clearly above the rest, even of the just an offensive line in general. Quentin Nelson.
Yep.
Easily the best.
Easy first one for me.
Wait, hang on. The ESPN, his lowest ranking, someone put him at 2. I would love to know who put him at 2.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I would love to know who put him at 2 because he is the clear-cut number 1.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my 2. And hold on.
Yeah, I'm looking through. I'm not nearly as deep as the tackles.
Well, my number 2 may surprise you. He's not on the list. Wyatt Teller needs to be. Wyatt Teller historically had one of the best run blocking seasons last year for the Browns. Like historically in NFL history, had one of the best run blocking years.
He's in the honorable mentions there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
You know what? No, I'm going to stick with Wyatt Teller. Joel Bitonio would be in my honorable mentions just because he's a bit older. But I think Wyatt Teller is going to. I think Wyatt Teller this year is going to move up to that 2-3 spot. I really do. I think with how much the Browns run the ball and focus on Chubb and Hunt, he's in the spotlight. I mean, there's so many clips of him last year. I mean, he used to block like 3 guys at once. So, I mean, it is a little biased, but I think he is really, really good as well.
My 2, Brandon Scherf from the football team. I mean, he's going to be the guy that leads that offensive line for a while, even though he is 29. But yeah, Teller. I think I would have Teller around 5 personally right now if we're looking at it as through everyone. And I feel like that's a really fair and good spot for him as of right now because of how young he is and how he kind of just came onto the scene.
Yeah. 3. I feel like I have to go with this position. Wow, he's not on here. How is he not on here?
Who?
After such a good year he had last year, Corey Linsley.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this list is a little bit more aimed at the older guys and the more accomplished guys.
Yeah,
because Linsley, like Teller, kind of had like one big year so far.
Yeah. No, I like Lindsey or Linsley. I don't know, whatever it is. I like him. Other centers that would be up there. I haven't really watched the Detroit Lions play maybe in like 50 years. So I don't know how good Frank Ragnow is. I know he's rated really high by a lot of people. So maybe he should be in there, but I'm kind of just going off what I know. And Corey Linsley had a great, great year last year, and he's only going to get better, I think. So, and then you can go ahead with your 3rd.
I was just going to say Zach Martin of the Cowboys been up there for a while now, and I think he's not really going anywhere. He's 30 though, so he could.
He's just injured.
Yeah.
All the time, and because I agree, he's probably like physically when he's healthy. He's on the same level as Quentin Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
But he just
can't stay healthy. Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys line is like or I don't know who's been off it now or on it, whatever. But for a couple of years, they were so good, but they just always got hurt. But yeah, Zach Martin when he's healthy is definitely up there. I just right now I can't do it for him. All right, he doesn't do it for me.
Let's see.
All right.
Let's
go. Okay, instead we're not going to do off-ball linebackers. We're not going to do that. Let's go edge rushers.
I was going to say let's get some defensive love.
Okay.
Edge rushers. I think I know why you went with edge rushers because there is a very clear-cut group of guys that we can kind of go through. And there's a lot more bigger names, which I enjoy. But Myles Garrett has to be the number one in my opinion. I mean, when he's on the field, he's easily the best player on the field.
Yeah, I agree. Mostly, I want to see how he plays with a fully healthy season. I mean, he was a beast last year until he got COVID. But yeah, Myles is such a weird dude, but he's awesome. I love Myles, but yeah, I think he's kind of made himself the number one at this point. For number two for me, I'm still going Aaron Donald.
He's an interior guy.
I don't like that, but okay.
He plays the middle now. He used to play end, but now he plays tackle.
Then two for me would be Joey Bosa.
Oh.
What?
I feel like TJ Watt just got disrespected.
TJ Watt, but like, I get he's good, but when he blitzes or comes off the edge, do you know how big his like alleys are? Because they had Cameron Hayward and those huge guys on their defensive line. I like TJ Watt. Well, no, I don't. I don't like any of the Watts, and I definitely don't like him because he's a Steeler. I mean, he's an off-ball linebacker, whatever. Fine, take him. He's nowhere near anywhere of mine. He sucks. He's like 142 pounds. Get out of my face.
All right, then. So you went with Bosa as your two?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
And then I think it kind of, after him, I think you kind of just who you really think. Or
well,
after the two.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Nick Bosa is better than Joey Bosa when he's healthy. Just from what we watched his rookie year, but I do have to give the nod to Joey Bosa as my three. But something that may surprise you a little bit, my 4 or 5, depending on the year that the other guy has, I really could see Chase Young being in the top 5.
Chase Young's 3 for me already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would consider putting him over Bosa, but
Chase Young. I mean, it's like that with all these great edge rushers that come out of college. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a dominant force.
Yeah, Chase Young, I think, would be my 4. The only other guy I was toying around with that could push him down to 5 is Khalil Mack, depending on the year that he has. Whether it's
he had a bad year last year.
He had a horrible year, but I think I would put Young at my 5 and Mack at my 4, just to out of respect and hope that Mack turns it around this year, because I love watching Khalil Mack play when he's on.
Dude, you should maybe you did, I don't know, but you should have seen him play at Buffalo, dude. The dude was
insane. I feel bad for those kids.
Like, Zaven Collins looked a little bit out of his element playing for Tulsa. Like, out of his element, meaning he was really good. Khalil Mack playing in the MAC was, I mean,
unfair.
And he wore the scariest face mask ever. So, yes.
Oh, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's like a full cage of it. Yeah. All right, your pick.
We're going to give a little more love to the defense. I'm going to talk cornerbacks, because I feel like that's another position that's very deep.
I agree with you, but I think there's a top tier.
I think there is a top tier. There's one guy that is clearly above the rest, so we can kind of just put that to rest.
Jalen
Ramsey. I mean, easily the best. But from there, like, it's a deep corner group, but you don't know. I don't know how you rank all of them, because there's Jalen Ramsey way up here, and then down here is the rest of the top 10, because I think there are so many good corners in the league right now.
I don't know if you saw it. Zach tweeted something last night, and I completely agree with him. He's my number 2. I don't know what ESPN's problem with him is. Jair Alexander's 2.
I had him as my 3.
I mean, yeah, either way, but ESPN doesn't have him as a top 5 corner. That's ridiculous. I don't see how you do that. But yeah, so Jair Alexander would be 2 for me. So who's 2 for you?
Two for me is Xavier Howard. I don't understand ESPN's love with Marlon Humphrey.
I don't either.
I really
understood
don't,
it. I've
because
never understood it.
he's just. I understand he ranked fourth with 6.4 yards allowed per target, with him being the nearest defender and all that crap. But Xavier Howard is what is for the Dolphins what they thought Byron Jones was going to be when they signed him to that huge contract, and he's out of their system. Xavier Howard is so good and so talented. I get to watch him murder the Jets twice a year. I don't understand I guess it's not disrespect because someone put him as 1, and I don't understand the guy that put him down at 7, but I mean, three is, I guess, good. He's top 3, but in my opinion, he's the second best. He's the closest guy to Jalen Ramsey.
And you said Jair is your third?
Jair is my 3. I don't understand the guys at ESPN, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Xavier Howard, maybe. I just haven't had enough time. Enough time. I haven't watched him really, so I can't really go with him.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
It's weird because once you get past Jair Alexander on this top 10, I feel like it's like you're jumping down a mountain. Like it's Jair Alexander and then Marshawn Lattimore, which I feel like is a huge gap. I guess I would have to say Tre'Davious White, even though I like him less and less every year.
I do too. I don't love Tre'Davious White. He was the other guy I was looking at off their list here. I'm surprised neither of us had Stephon Gilmore for as much hype as he gets and winning the what do you win? Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. 2 years ago, also Tom Brady was on the team too. So
yeah, I think that's really why he just had a down year and an uninspiring year personally for me.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
All right, you're up. Your choice. Board is wide open.
All right, let's go running backs.
The nitty gritty. All right. This is going to be interesting because this is
this is literally just your preference, to be honest.
Exactly. It's what you value more and why you value it kind of thing. Because in all honesty, I know this might be controversial to a certain extent, but I think Alvin Kamara is the best running back because of how versatile he is. He efficiently runs the ball as efficiently as he receives the ball. He's all over the field. He makes the cuts. I think he's the best running back right now, and I guess that's kind of controversial from what ESPN said.
No, I'm 100% with you. I would have put Alvin Kamara number 1. Yep, I completely agree. About maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have put Christian McCaffrey, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. And Alvin Kamara has been able to stay healthy, and everyone talks about Drew Brees, and yes, Drew Brees was great, and Michael Thomas has been great. The most important player on that offense all those years was Alvin Kamara. So
he's the guy that opened it up so that they can run the slants and the curls and all that stuff. He's the guy that when things went wrong, you dumped it out to him and he picked up the first down. I mean, he, like you said, he is the most important player on that team.
All right. And then, I'll go 2, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Nick Chubb.
I knew you were going to go with Nick Chubb.
I like Derrick Henry, but there are a couple of stats here about Nick Chubb that, I think makes him better. I mean, Chubb is good for 20-plus yard runs nearly every week with 12 runs on 190 attempts or once per every 15.8 runs. And Henry only averages 20-plus yard runs on 23.6. Like we said, though, this is more about preference. Nick Chubb is actually at the point where, I need people to stop talking about him because people are, saying they love him too much right now. So I need you all to shut up out there. But he's my number 2.
I get Chubb. I think ESPN had him where I would rank him at 4. My number 2, again, going away from what ESPN said, I'm going with Dalvin Cook. He's another guy, kind of does a little bit of everything, is the most important player on his offense. And he just had a great year, posting like they said here, posting career highs in attempts, rushing yards, touchdowns, and yards per carry. He again, I love everything about his game, and it's super unfortunate he has to play with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback.
It's terrible. It's not fair to the player.
It's not fair to anyone.
It's not fair to anyone. I think that we're probably going to be kind of consensus on 3.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, it's time to. It's Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Okay.
If he were able to catch the ball even remotely, he would instantly move up to my 1 spot.
Yeah, I agree. He's great, but whatever. All right, you're up.
I'm gonna run it back over to the defense. We're gonna go with the safeties.
Okay. Let me get there first. Okay.
I think this is a.
I think
3 or 4 horse race, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
And one guy is severely underrated on their list here, which I'll talk about as my honorable mention. I think number 1 has to be Minkah. I know you're probably not going to go with him because he's a Steeler, but he's the most complete corner in the game and is a very valuable asset to that defense.
When did Minkah switch to corner?
Oh, we're looking at safeties.
I know you said corner though.
Oh, he played both when he was with Miami. Safety, whatever. Very valuable asset either way.
I like Minkah a lot. He's my favorite safety to draft in Madden. I love him. I would just go Justin Simmons.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't even say he's been more consistent. I would say he's more almost seasoned than Minkah. And then I'll just go to my number 2. My number 2 is clearly Minkah. Mm-hmm. I think him and Simmons are, especially as free safeties more than anything. I think they're a clear tier 1, and then from there it goes on. All right, who's your 2?
I actually have Justin Simmons as my 3.
Okay.
Because I think Budda Baker is a very, very, very good safety and could potentially with this season vault himself over Minkah in my eyes. He's gonna, he had 441 tackles over his 4 years so far. He's averaging over 100 tackles a year. Intercepts the ball. Where did his number go? 2020, he had his first 2 career interceptions in 2020, which kind of sucked, but his pass deflection, and they have a 14.6% ball hawk rate, which is really good. He's my 2 over Simmons, especially because we're taking into consideration what we think is going to happen this season. So I go Fitzpatrick, Baker, and then Simmons.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a real fall off from Simmons and Fitzpatrick. I think once again, this is going to be about preference for me. I'd love to put John Johnson on there. I'm not going to. I have fallen way down on Jamal Adams.
I don't know who still has him as his 1. Probably a Seahawks fan.
I'm going to go with Tyrann Mathieu. I like the Honey Badger so much. I think he's obviously a safety, but like honestly, in this, I don't want to make this about the Browns, but like if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah can end up playing somewhat of a role that Tyrann Mathieu does, which I think is somewhat possible. I think he's definitely slower, and I don't think he can cover as well as Mathieu, but I just thought I've loved Tyrann Mathieu since he came out. I honestly don't understand why he's bumped around with so many teams. I would give up a first-round pick for him even right now. But I like Tyrann Mathieu a lot. And then the honorable mentions, like I have to say John Johnson because there's not – I would say Harrison Smith is ahead of him, and then Jamal Adams is ahead of him, and Budda Baker at strong safety. I would say that. I mean, I can live with that. But it feels like there's also just a lot of young good ones that aren't on here. Like what can I think of his name?
Antoine Whitfield Jr.
No, another rookie. Oh, Chin?
Jeremy Chin.
Obviously, he's not in the top 10 yet, but he will be. And you best said the other guy, Antoine Winfield, is probably going to be in the top 10 here soon.
I want to just talk about Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates was the biggest Pro Bowl snub, and he's getting snubbed by ESPN here. They have him at 10. The guy literally is the entire Bengals defense, and he kept them competitive single-handedly. And like this high-ranking NFL official said, if he was on a different team, people would love this guy, and I truly do believe that. I want to talk about him, and then if Derwin James is healthy, I mean, he's instantly put in my top 5.
I agree. You think Marcus May should be in the top 10?
Probably the low-end 10s. Same thing with like Eddie Jackson. I always look at those guys as kind of the same person. They're a really good corner. They're just not special in comparison to the rest of the field. So I would probably put them both around like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
I just want you to go to the bottom real quick. Just all the safeties receiving other votes, like Darnell Savage plays nickel, covers rangy. He's unbelievable. Marcus May really stood out last year, not a special athlete, but so well-rounded. And then Eddie Jackson he has a very good trait with his ability to take the ball away. Good, not great athlete, lacks special top-end speed, and he's been inconsistent as a tackler, not the most physical. Like, it seems like they just said good things about everyone else, but not
Eddie Jackson. Yeah.
Like, they just kind of ripped Eddie Jackson apart there. I don't know. That's probably a Packers fan, maybe. I don't know.
It's an NFC exec, so it could have been a Packers guy.
So, yeah. I agree with Marcus May. I think he can squeeze his way in there.
Yeah. Some of the ones that they have on here, I just don't understand. Like Kevin Byard, like he wouldn't be in my top 10. I understand he's good, but 7 seems high.
Oh, and I'm with you 100% on Derwin James. Yeah, if he's healthy, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
Some of these guys that have – well, I will say Marcus Williams deserves a shout-out. He's really good for the Saints, so he deserves a shout-out. But is Landon Collins good anymore? Like, I don't know. I
think he is. He's just not on the Washington line, so he doesn't get the love that the line does.
All right.
You're up. You're shot. You got interior defensive linemen, off-ball linebackers.
We're not doing off-ball linebackers.
All right. Well, then you have interior defensive linemen, receivers, and quarterbacks.
Well, quarterback's going to be the last one. So
yeah, that's what I figured. So
let's go receivers, which I think this is probably the most crowded field. But I also think there
are so many guys that you can make an argument for here. And it's super unfortunate because I'm scrolling through their top 10 and I'm like, yeah, you're missing this guy or that guy. And you go to look at the honorable mentions list. Look at how long it is in comparison to the other ones.
I'm going down right now. Yeah, it's so much. Yeah.
We might need to do like a receiver, a quarterbacks or running backs and a receivers show where we just kind of like do a top 10. Because there are too many guys for us to talk about in this. But
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. We'll make quarterbacks and receivers a different one. Let's just go
running backs because we could do a top 10 for each. Of the 3.
Let's do interior defensive linemen, and then we'll wrap it up.
No, that's all right. We could do the wideouts now and just talk about the top 3, and then we'll do a different show where we go more in depth about it.
Okay. I'll go number 1 right now. I still think DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in football.
I have to agree, even though I don't like it. Like, he is the best, and he's the best. I'm not going to say much more.
Okay. I think there's also a clear-cut number 2 for me. I think it's Stephon Diggs.
I was going to go Stephon Diggs, and I was going to say that's my contract. Damn it. Stephon Diggs is too. I mean, he's so good.
He's so good. I mean, he was really, really good in Minnesota, and he's been amazing for Buffalo. Like, I get it. Josh he's grown. He's gotten better. He would be nowhere near as good as he is today without Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you go first with your third since I ruined your second. I don't think we're going to go in the same direction, but maybe we will. So go
I
ahead.
think I might because I don't have Devontae Adams as my 3.
I agree.
I really don't. And this guy that I have at 3, I would sort of argue is better than both Hopkins and Diggs, but he's just older, so it feels wrong to say. But I have Julio Jones as my 3.
That makes sense. I'm interested to see how he plays this year.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen is vastly underrated at 6. I think he should be lower than that. I will go with my trend of I'm going to disagree with you. I would probably put Julio 4 or 5. Granted, I will say this as well. I just haven't watched a lot of Atlanta Falcons football. I think DK Metcalf is 3.
Yeah, I have him at 4 or 5 too. I probably have him 5 because, like I said, for now I have it as Hopkins, Diggs, Julio, Devontae Adams, and then probably DK. But those guys are like the top of the top, so there's really no wrong order so long as those guys are in there. I don't know why everyone loves Tyreek Hill so much. I think he has a horrible skill set because he's just fast and he runs down the field. It's not like he's shifty. It's not like he gets through tackles. He just runs faster than everyone, and he has the best quarterback in the league throwing to him.
100%. Yeah, I mean, if we're probably going to do a show on this, so I'm not going to give out my top 4 or 5, but this is definitely one of the most crowded fields.
Yeah.
Like if you look at any of the honorable mentions, I know you said it, but you could make a case for just about every single one of those guys to be in the top 10.
Except for maybe Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and
Adam Thielen.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, and I hate to say it, probably Jarvis Landry doesn't deserve to be in the top 10.
And Adam Thielen, I'm going to keep saying. Adam Thielen is not a top 10 guy. Not anymore.
Whatever. Okay.
So now we'll go to the interior linemen and close out with their quarterbacks.
Yep.
All right. You said his name before. Clear cut number 1, Aaron Donald. No question about it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And if anyone says anything otherwise, I would love to meet them and hear them out because someone has Aaron Donald ranked at 4 on ESPN. His lowest ranking is 4.
Seriously?
I would love to meet this person. I would love to know who they put ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna go with my second. DeForest Buckner.
Yep, that's where I was gonna go.
It's almost just more the fact that of how big he is and like how intimidating and how much space he just eats up. I mean, he makes like obviously. What's the Colts linebacker's name?
Darius Leonard.
Yeah, obviously Darius Leonard's been really good in the NFL, but he would not be as good as he is without DeForest Buckner. I mean, DeForest Buckner, like he's the main thing on that defense. He
Didn't they just acquire him in the offseason?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far to say that without Buckner, Leonard's nothing because Leonard's been there for a while now. But he definitely does help, and definitely Buckner's the reason that they broke into the top 5 for defenses last year. By far.
All right, you're up.
I mean, after that, like I don't love Cam Hayward. I don't love Fletcher Cox. I'm going to have to go with Chris Jones as my 3.
I agree. One of the guys that's not on here that I think is really, really good. Well, actually, I think a lot, especially 2 I'm looking at right now in the honorable mention. I would put Quinton Williams in the top 10 as would I put Jonathan Allen.
But yeah, I agree. Both should be up there. I don't love Grady Jarrett.
Definitely not. No, I agree.
Stephon Tuitt. Again, I don't know who has him as 1 because that's just.
I know these. Yeah, it's so weird. That. Like I don't. Who would vote him 1? I just don't.
He's the only other person on this list that has the highest ranking of 1. So that guy that put Aaron Donald at 4 put him as 1.
Whatever.
Like, I don't understand people. Vita Vea, if he comes back healthy, will jump back into my top 5.
Yeah, I agree. And it's almost just because of how I think the one scout said it. I mean, he's so big, and his like first step and first movement just off the snap is insane. Yeah, I agree. I like that. I think he's vastly underrated.
Yes.
But he was bound to always be underrated because of the style of play he does. So that works.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we got to go to probably the most important position.
And probably one that, even though we want to say there's going to be the most controversy, is probably not going to be the most controversy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that, well, I mean,
maybe with mine, because you know where I'm going with my third, because we talked about it. But anyway, number 1, I mean, can you say anyone else but Patrick Mahomes for number 1?
no, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Can.
And then I also think number 2 is pretty simple as well. As long as he plays this year, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I toyed with him anywhere else, but after his MVP season, and yeah, it's hard to say that he's not number 2 for me either. Yeah.
All right, you're 3?
I'm going to pull the trigger and do it. I know this is going to piss off some people, but Josh Allen is my 3rd best quarterback in this league right now. I mean, he obviously blew up with the arrival of Stephon Diggs. We talked about it a little bit. He can only go up from here as he progresses. He's got the physical traits. He's got the arm. He's got the legs to be that dual threat quarterback that he needs to be sometimes. And he's just by far my favorite quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's definitely there. After really Tom Brady or Russell Wilson at 4 and 3. I don't have Tom Brady or Russell Wilson in there. I feel it's just kind of preferential at this point. I just wouldn't know who else to go with. Dak, I'll go with Dak.
As your 3?
Yeah, no, I can't go Dak as 3.
No.
That's wrong. I guess I'm going to go Tom Brady because I'm not going to go Russell Wilson.
I don't know why Russ is so high. Like, they haven't had a great season. Like, yeah. I understand he threw the 13 interceptions last season, which was low. But even with DK, he didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, it was uninspiring to say the least.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily think Baker should be in the top 10, but he got no votes, which doesn't really make sense to me. Whatever. I don't know how Lamar Jackson is still in this. Like, I don't know.
And so high. Like, if he were 10, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I like Herbert. Hey, it's good to know that both our fantasy quarterbacks are on that list somehow. Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow's in the honorable mention. So
if he comes back healthy.
All right, I think that's going to do it for today. Nothing really else. I don't know.
All right, ending question. What is the Washington football team's name going to be? I have 2 names in mind.
Has there been rumors out about any of them?
There have been a bunch of articles about potential guesses, but I think 2 of them really make sense.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to name your team the Washington Militia.
I also stuck with the Army theme because you are in like the Capitol and everything. I think the Washington Red Tails would be really cool because that's like from the Tuskegee Airmen or whatever it is. Yeah. And then it just sounds cool. I really like this name, the Washington Renegades. I think it would be cool to drop the S and just be the Washington Renegade.
Yeah, but then you're turning to like WNBA territory where it's just like Yeah, I keep trying to think of like they already said no to the Warriors. Um, I don't even know. I don't think I know what this is, but I like the name, the Paladins.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that is,
That
but
might not be okay because it's towards religion.
oh, is it? I have no idea.
The Griffins. That was my fantasy football team name for my first team.
The Griffins.
The Griffins.
Why?
I found a cool logo on the internet.
Okay.
It's like the yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. I do. I like the Renegades. I do like the Renegades. I don't think I actually like Red Tails a lot better. I just don't. They can't do that. I don't think. I just don't think they can.
I think they can because part of their thing is they want to keep the color scheme. So like you're gonna have to be something like that. So like Renegades, you can kind of do any color scheme you want, but like the Red Tails, you could do something like the Red Hogs because remember the back in the '80s they had the Hogs as the line or whatever. That could be kind of cool to like bring that back.
Wish they named themselves the Washington Raiders. Just there's two Raiders in the NFL now. All right, Tom, you got anything else, bud?
Sco Dogs, baby, you already know.
Sco Dog.
Oh,